Okay, so welcome back. In this particular video, we are going to discuss the image tag. You are going to run into this tag over and over again. If you're looking at this tag thinking, wow, it is kind of complicated, it's not really. Basically, the image tag really looks like this. All the rest of it I'll explain in just a minute. The image tag allows you to grab any image, whether it's an external image from a different website or even your internal image that might be sitting on your website. It acts just like a hyperlink, and you'll learn about that later on. Where it starts out with a tag is here, of course. These brackets surrounding it. It starts with IMG, standing for image, and then you put a space. Then you put SRC, which stands for source. It's basically image source equals quotation, quotation, and then the file name goes inside. Like I said, this could be a file that is sitting on your server. It doesn't necessarily have to be a .jpeg or .jpg. It can be a .png file, a .gif, or any sort of image file. It will work. This can link here. This can link to www.yourdomain.com/imagename.jag or whatever the image extension might be. That's how easy it is to create an image tag. And we did that without having to even go to our HTML editor. You can simply type this in and pull any image that you want in. What you saw earlier was the alt tag. We'll add to the alt tag. So after we've done this, after the quotation has closed that URL off, we can put a space and we can put the word alt equals quotation, quotation. The alt tag is basically going to tell Google or any other search engine robot what the image is all about. So what you're doing is taking it a step further and making it more search engine friendly. The alt tag is pointing to what it is all about. Let's say, for example, this is an image of a puppy. Let's say it's a golden retriever puppy. You would type in golden retriever puppy. You might be able to type in what it's doing. Maybe it's biting, and your image is about how to stop puppies from biting. So Google will read that and it will say, okay, this must be about golden retriever puppy biting. Does the content that is surrounding it actually relate to this? If it does, then that's a good sign. Now, the other stuff that you saw was what we call the style, the width, and the height. Typically, you're not going to run into that unless you want to resize the image. So I'm not really going to teach you that right now. I would rather you go to your HTML editor and test it out there, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I want you to just memorize the tag here. Let's do that again. Starting from scratch, it's image source. I like to start with the bracket. The image tag does not have a closed tab necessarily. It's just IMG SRC. I start with image source equals. Then I put the file name inside and the extension. That's essentially it. Then we do alt tag equals quotation, quotation, and then the SEO friendly keyword, and that's it. That's all you have to do. You only add the width and the height if you want to resize it. So if you want to resize it, then you can add a width and a height. For now, I just want you to learn the basics. Jump on over to your HTML editor and I'll show you. So I've got Composer here, and let's say, for example, that I'm going to center align this image. I'm going to go ahead and click on image, and I'm going to find an image. These images are on my computer, obviously. I click on Do Not Use Alternate Text. Typically in Composer, if you do not enter alternate text, it will give you a warning message. So you want to enter the alternate text, which is basically what the Google robot uses to see what your images are all about. So we can say puppy biting, and we click OK. There we go. Obviously, this is not an image of a puppy biting. I'm just using this as an example. If you click on source here, you'll see that we can see the IMG or the SRC down here. There's a style down here, which is telling us the style in the alt tag. If we were to remove this, this is what it would look like. We can see IMG SRC equals the location of the file. I've said this before, but Composer will generally directly link to your computer, and you don't want that. You want it to link to your website or to the file. So if this HTML file is located in the same folder as your image, then you can simply remove everything and just put the file name between the quotations. That's probably the easiest way to go. If your image is in a specific location on your website, the easiest thing to do is find a location and then put the location here. Just make sure that this is not linking to your computer, because when you upload it to the internet, nobody else can see your computer except for you. So it may work for you, but it's not going to work for everybody else. I'm going to leave it at that so we can keep it simple. If you ever want to resize it via an HTML editor without needing to know all the width, height, and styling stuff, you can always double-click it and go to dimensions. You have the actual size here. You can do custom size. What I like to do is make sure that the constraint option is selected, simply because if a picture, for example, is 900 by 597, you don't want to distort it. When you decrease it down to 500, you want to keep the width and height scale the same. If I don't press constraint, as you saw I did earlier, and I just do 500 and press OK, you can see how it has distorted the image itself. That's another little tip that I have with utilizing your HTML editor. By all means, if you want to stick with your HTML editor, that's fine, but I'd highly recommend you at least memorize this simple tag. When it comes to editing with WordPress or any type of content management system that utilizes an HTML editor, sometimes you're going to run into snags along the way. If you know this tag, then you can get past simple roadblocks. So, I hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll move on to the next one.